As any manager will tell you, evaluating a squad is essential when trying to build up a tactic as well as deciding on who to keep and who to bring in, what your depth is like. Now, unfortunately, because we don't have a lot of money to bring players in, we're going to have to be on the selling trail or at least look for loans and free players, which is exactly what I did. So let's go and take a look and see who I brought in. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here, and welcome back to Reforestation, and thank you very much for all the support that you gave on the first episode. It does look like you're willing to give this series a chance, and I am still excited to give this series out to you guys, so let's just go ahead with it, shall we? The matches that we're going to be playing today are against Middlesbrough and Leeds, but before we get to that, we did play a few matches at the very start of the season, so we'll get a rundown of that, and of course, we're still in a transfer window. Might as well go over all the players that we have brought into the club to see if we can try and better this squad going forward. If you remember the main areas where we needed to get better at: goalkeeper, midfielder, defense. I think we hit every single one of those, and look no further on goalkeeper than Shay Given. We picked him up on a free. He was just sitting on a bench, and we said, hey, you want to play goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest? He said, sure, come on in. Let's go give you a shirt, and let's go stick you in between the sticks. The 41-year-old Irishman looks like he could still get the job done, especially at a championship level, and that's all we really wanted to do because, well, Jordan Smith is not really the best of quality, and Stephen Henderson is injured. Decent shot-stopping ability, decent aerials. Yes, his physicals are starting to slow down. He's starting to lack a little bit of his pace, but he can still shot stop with the best of them at this level. I only had one proper left back in Danny Fox, so I figured, maybe I should try and look for somebody who could potentially be just as well as Danny and maybe come from one of the better squads in the world. So we loaned in Moises Delgado from Barcelona. He was sitting in their B side, and overall doesn't look all that bad. Compared to Danny Fox, he doesn't have the technical or the vision attributes, but he has every bit of the defense, the physical, and the speed aspects that could make him a very well-suited backup. Moises Delgado, 23 years old, looks pretty solid, and that's why I picked him up on a loan deal. Like I said, we don't really have the money to buy people at this point in time, but we can pick people up on loans, and like I said, Moises Delgado coming in as a very decent backup. Now, I'm still not too sure what type of formation I want to utilize primarily during this season, but I went and picked out Lewis Morgan nonetheless, loaning him in from St. Mirren. The 20-year-old is a left attacking midfielder, so in case I utilize a V formation, he would absolutely work in that spot. Just take a look at him. Decent pace and technical attributes for his age. 14 pace and acceleration, 13 first touch and crossing, 15 dribbling. He's definitely going to help us out there immensely if I utilize a left attacking mid. So I might as well go over the formations that we could potentially be using during this upcoming season, and we got 3 in the chamber. 2 of them have a 1-striker front, and this one you see right here is the lone 2-striker front because of all the strikers that we have. It is a modified 4-4-2. Barry Mackay pushed up into that attacking mid role that suits him the most perfectly. The 2 strikers up front are usually going to be Brian Clough and Daryl Murphy, though Apostolos Velos can play in that target man role. Of course, flat back 4. I like 4 at the back. I can't make 5 at the back work, so don't even bother asking me or telling me to try and do that. And the midfield, it's Traore on the winger, deep line playmaker, usually in Buchalakis, and we got a Metsala that we could potentially utilize as well to push into those spaces that Barry Mackay leaves open. Now, obviously, Ben Osborne is not the best at that role, but when Chris Cohen comes back off of injury, he can easily slot into that, so it's basically preparation for that. Now we have an asymmetric type of formation that you can probably guess that I did utilize at Everton, but I swapped it over to the other side. Now I'm moving it over to the right-hand side because Barry Mackay, more often than not, will push up into that attacking mid role. Traore or Ben Osborne can stay in that left attacking mid or just left mid. And yes, it says that we have a cam. We do have a cam in Kieran Dow, so if I want to try and utilize him more so going forward, we will utilize this formation. And as I said before, with Lewis Morgan coming on in, he is more prone to be a left attacking mid, so if I want to utilize 2 attacking mids, I'll be using this formation, the 4-3-3 as you see here. Yes, it's a 1 striker, but I feel like with the squad around us, we can make it work. Now let's take a look at the fixtures that we played early on in the season, and don't let the scorelines fool you. With the exception of that 4-1 drubbing over Shrewsbury, the other 3 matches have been extremely difficult for us to establish possession, establish shots on target, and just establish dominance in general. It's nice that we got ourselves that 4-1 victory over Shrewsbury. Did help that they got themselves a man sent off early in the match, and that moves us on into the second round of the Carabao Cup, which is of course the match versus Leeds later on today. Starting out the league season, we took on Millwall, and we only came away with a 1-1 draw versus them. Did help that they got a man sent off in the second half, allowing us to come back and equalize that, but ooh boy, was it really, really rough for us to try and get anything going versus them. And the same can be said versus Brentford. Traveling away to Brentford, a 0-0 draw, still coming away with a point, so I'm happy about that. Versus Barnsley, though, it was a 4-2 victory, but like I said, don't let that fool you. We did not have the majority shots, we did not have the majority possession. It was more of a smash and grab job that we were able to come away with the 4 goals. Nice to see Jason Cummings get the start and get a hat-trick on top of that, so nice to see him do some work. All that said, though, early on, we are sitting in 7th place with 5 points through the 3 matches. We still got 43 left to go this season. It's a very long season here in the championship, so there could be a lot of fluctuation between top and bottom, and I still expect that we're going to finish towards the middle of the table. But maybe if we can push towards the playoffs at the end of the season, that would be absolutely great. But anything higher than 18th, what the media said, is what I'm trying to go for. So getting into the match now today versus Middlesbrough, we're going to be taking them on at home, and we're going to line up as follows. Shay Given's going to be in between the sticks. We're going to have a back line of Lehigh, Mills, Mancien, and Danny Fox. Our defensive mid is going to be Liam Bridcut, the 2 men sitting in front of him, Danny Vaughan and Ben Osborne. It is interesting to note, though, Danny Vaughan getting himself injured during one of our last friendlies, so he is just coming back off of that injury, losing a lot of his speed and a lot of his physicality, but hopefully with his defense and his vision, hopefully he can get a decent performance here today at home. We got the wingers of Lewis Morgan and Barry Mackay standing up here today, and of course, we got the lone poacher sitting up top, Jason Cummings, coming off of his hat-trick. Let's see if he can build upon that and maybe get a goal here today. So let's go kick off and see what happens. Now, I will say this, I'm not expecting us to be going out here and pulling off an Arsenal Invincibles. We're not going to win or draw every single match. In fact, like I showed before, I expect us to be struggling in pretty much every single match that is going to be taking place here today. We struggled versus Millwall, versus Barnsley, and of course that draw versus Brentford. So it all comes down to mitigating bad results, mitigating bad passes, and hell, maybe even turning around and getting a counter every now and then to score a goal. And so far, we're still being dominated on the day, lowest amount of shots, fewest possession. We're still just grinding this out right here. I'd still want to get at least a draw here at home, but I don't want it to be a 0-0 bore fest. From the back to the front, there just doesn't seem to be any sort of passing cohesion. I'm going to have to take a look at the analysis because, like I said, there just doesn't seem to be any sort of gelling between the players at this point in time, which is weird because a lot of the players that have played for Nottingham Forest in the past are still here on the squad. And I just don't understand it. As you can see here, looking at this, it looks like we're backed up into a 4-1-4-1. Our wingers are being pushed more into a defensive position instead of an attacking position, which is not good. If we take a look at our key passes and our crosses, we have not done much of anything in the way of that. We have only had 1 key pass from the middle of the park, not even really going anywhere. It was just from middle to middle. It was Ben Osborne trying to get it up to Jason Cummings. I think he made it, but then the shot went well wide. I just can't even see anything when it comes to shots being blocked. In fact, it was a shot being blocked from that key pass. Jason Cummings getting it blocked. So yeah, we have honestly not had the best of days today, and I'm going to let the team know it. It's just not been good, and they need to do better. That's the motto of this series. You gotta do better if you want to get the results. Free kick, Danny Fox, just 2 minutes in, he plangs it off the crossbar. Still taking a look at the squad. We've had more shots taken today, but it's still less than Middlesbrough. It's still fewer possession than Middlesbrough, but we are still limiting them to shots away from goal, way outside the box. That's what's keeping us within this match. 15 minutes left to go, and we finally get ourselves another highlight. Lehigh with the pass in, with the throw in, out to Bouchalakis. Tries to long ball it up over the top to Mustafa Carriol, but Carriol just cannot have the pace to get there. Even though he's got a 15 pace and a 14 acceleration, he somehow did not have the pace to get all the way up there. And now Middlesbrough could hit us on a break. Adama Traore running all the way to the byline. I mean, I absolutely love his pace. Adama Traore's got, what, 18 pace, 18 acceleration? He's just running circles around our defense. Lehigh with a wonderful tackle and just the pass out, the clearance out has just been absolutely shocking. Here we go once again. Adama getting inside. If we're allowing Rudy Getsted to score goals on us, we might as well just pack it in. Because Getsted is garbage. I just don't understand it. I mean, okay, I lied. I know, I do understand it. The Nottingham Forest defense is complete crap. There's no pace on the defensive line. Taking a look at Matt Mills, Joe Worrell, Mancien. Mancien is the only one that has pace along the defensive line. Danny Fox, no. Lehigh does have a little bit of pace. Same thing with Dariqua, but nobody in the center of the park has any sort of pace to get themselves into a position where they need to help out on defense. And that is what the problem is. If there's a long ball up over the top, we are immediately exposed down the middle because we have nobody in terms of pace to pick up anybody coming down the middle. So that's maybe something that we need to look forward to before we get the window closed, before the window is shut. Go after a fast center back. Try and loan one of them in. But as it stands right now, Middlesbrough are going to be sneaking away with a 1-0 victory. I say sneaking away. They dominated the match. They had the more shots. They've had the more possession. There's no sneaking away at all with this one. They bettered us on this day, and we couldn't do anything. We were only able to stop them for 77 minutes until Rudy Getsted. Like I said, Rudy Getsted scoring on you, you might as well pack it in because he's trash. And we allowed him to score on us. So what does that say? Not happy with anybody's performance out there, but it is still early on in the season. We still got, 42 matches left to go now? Zach Clough's out for 11 days. Okay, that means he's not going to be able for the next 2 matches. That's fine. It's still early on in the season. So let's turn our attention away from the league and work towards the Carabao Cup, which now we're going to be taking on Leeds. So let's take a look and see who we're going to be using in that match. So in the second round match in the Carabao Cup versus Leeds, we're going to be going back with the V formation, this time with Jordan Smith in between the sticks, trying to get the youngsters some playtime. We're going to use Tendai Dariqua, Mancien, Joe Worrell, and Danny Fox along the back line this time. Bridcut's going to be back again in the defensive mid spot. Vaughn and Osborne, the 2 center mids. Morgan and Mackay out on the wings. And Jason Cummings sitting up top. One of these times he's got to score some goals. Hopefully it could be today to send us through to the next round. And taking a look at Leeds' squad, to be completely honest with you, I don't really know much of their squad. In fact, the only player I know is Vernon Anita. That's the only player that I know on the Leeds squad, and they're going to be utilizing a 4-2-3-1, so they're looking to try and make it as counterattacking as possible, potentially counterattacking as possible, maybe even straight up FU attack mode for all we know. But boys, what I know is that you need to go out there and perform, because as I've seen over the last few matches, it just hasn't worked. I shouldn't say it's not that it hasn't been effective. We've gotten results. It just hasn't been as effective in the way of it hasn't been consistent. Just about 20 minutes on, and the tail of the tape is exactly how it was versus the Middlesbrough match. Unfortunately, now Barry Mackay is injured. Great. That's not what I want to see. We do have Mustafa Carriol, though, who could come in and take over his job, but I don't want to be making subs this early on in a match, especially due to injury. But as I was saying, tail of the tape of this match is exactly the same as it was versus Middlesbrough. We've not been having the shots. We've not been having the possession. Great free kick, though. It falls to Cummings. Yes, there we go. Jason Cummings. The ball bouncing past everybody on either a Leeds side or the Nottingham Forest side, and Jason Cummings on the shortest of angles is able to get the ball into the back of the net and give us a lead right before the half-hour mark. Let's go, boys. So far on either side, that shot and goal from Jason Cummings has been the only shot on target that either side has taken. So we must count ourselves very, very fortunate that we are in this position, that we are in this lead, and we cannot give this up right now. And we are playing a little bit more of a counter-attacking style at this point in time. I was able to drop it back from control to counter, and I think being a little bit deeper and trying to play a little bit more possession football is what's giving us a little bit of an edge here, at least in terms of making it so that we have ourselves a chance to take the lead. And I was about to make some different words happen there as I'm taking a look at this counterattack now from Dariqua. Dariqua taking it to the byline, crosses it back into the middle. It falls to Lewis Morgan. Lewis Morgan, in his second appearance here at the club, has just doubled the lead for Forest, and we are looking ever so slightly like we're going to advance to the third round of the Carabao Cup. Yes, it's a cup competition that we're not expected to win, but at least it gives us a little bit of money. I think it would give us a little bit of money if we get out of this to the third round. I don't know. But a win is a win, and if we can see this one out now, I'm sure everyone will be happy. Ben Osborne, handing it down to Dariqua. Back inside to Vaughn. He's got a couple of red shirts in front of him. Gets it through to Mustafa Carriol, who's onside, and he hits the post. Could have ended the match right there, going up 3-0. Leeds certainly wouldn't have come back from that. Making my 2 final subs, Jack Hobbs coming in the center back spot, and Andres Bouchalakis coming in the center mid role with 10 minutes left to go, looking to try and hold this down, be as controlling as possible. Don't let any of the Leeds players, get into our area and score or cause any problems. 3 minutes of stoppage time on the clock. We still have about a minute left. If Leeds do, in fact, get a goal here, it would have been a consolation. Good stop from Jordan Smith here. But like I said, if they would have gotten a consolation goal, it really wouldn't have mattered because they wouldn't have had enough time to get themselves a second goal and force extra time. 5 seconds left to go in this match. The ball goes out of bounds, and the referee blows his full-time whistle just to end this. Nottingham Forest 2, Leeds United 0. And on top of that, boys, a decently deserved win. At the very end of it all, we were able to get a little bit higher possession and a little bit more shots on target. But overall, we did snatch and grab this win. We did snatch and grab this to get ourselves through to the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. And as far as we know who we're going to be facing, I don't know. I really don't care. Barry Mackay, that's not good. He's out 4 to 5 weeks with a twisted ankle, which means that Mustafa Carriol is going to be sitting up there in that right attacking mid spot. We're probably not going to go after anybody new to try and, fill in for depth at that spot. It's all about the center backs. We need faster, better center backs than what we got right now. And before the transfer window is over, I'm going to look to try and loan some in. And if you guys have any center backs that you want me to scout in the first place before the window is over, please let me know in the comment section below. I do have a couple in mind for my scouting report, so I want to hear what you guys say about this subject. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. And if you guys enjoyed, please do go and drop it a like, share with all your friends, and subscribe if you're new and want to see more FM18 content. If you want to leave a comment in the comment box below, please go and do so. I appreciate every single comment that you guys put down. But anyway, guys, I've been Gendo, and you have been awesome, and I'll see you next time. Take care, and peace out.